Thanks for joining St. George News at 8. I'm Scott Beadle. The Brian Head fire tripled in size in less than 24 hours, spreading from just under 1,000 acres Tuesday to nearly 2,800 acres today. Officials say the fire made a 3-mile run to the northeast. The fire has reached Hendrickson Lake and is moving down into Second Left-Hand Canyon. It also burned around the Thunder Ridge Boy Scout camp with minimal damage. The community of Brian Head will remain under evacuation until fire managers determine when it's safe for residents and visitors to return. Highway 143 remains closed from Parowan to the Cedar Breaks National Monument Junction. A number of trails remain closed. A list can be found on our website, stgeorgenews.com. 6 men are arrested on drug charges after police execute a search warrant of their home in St. George. Reporter Rick Wayman has the details.
6 people were arrested today as the Washington County Drug Task Force and the St. George Police Department executed a search warrant on Vermilion Drive in St. George. Sergeant Jordan Minnick told us what happened.
So the Washington County Drug Task Force had some information of a possible drug source in the community. We obtained enough information that today we executed a search warrant on the residence here on Vermilion Avenue. There is items related to drug and drug distribution in plain view within the house, but how much, what's all there, I don't know yet.
Sergeant Minnick, were these people known to the Drug Task Force?
Very. They are individuals who this is not their first chance to reform themselves, if you will. This is not their first rodeo. This is also not their first search warrant either. So individuals, unfortunately, that we're well aware of. I know that the people around here, there's no way they couldn't have noticed what was going on. We try to pick the cream of the crop when we work our investigations, and well, we're here. So I'll let you know, it's rose to the top for us. So, with that many people inside a residence and with the propensity of violence associated with drugs, the fact that it went as smooth as it did, our SWAT team, give hats off to them. They executed that flawlessly.
So, to recap, 6 people arrested, nobody injured, and more charges may be filed. Rick Wayman reporting, St. George News at 8.
A backyard fire off Main Street in St. George Tuesday afternoon burned 2 sheds to the ground before being extinguished.
We got paged to a structure shed fire at about 2:24 p.m. this afternoon. Upon arrival, we found 1 shed, partially another one car, and 2 others partially involved with flame, with power lines and other utilities on an adjacent pole that were currently on fire. No injuries. There's some fatigue with the heat, obviously, but there were no injuries. And at this point, we can't say it's suspicious. We're just going to leave it undetermined until we can find additional information.
The Parowan Gap Natural Passageway is home to one of the largest collections of petroglyphs, or rock writings, in the West. It's also where a summer solstice celebration will be held this Saturday. Researchers believe they have identified solar and lunar calendars in the petroglyphs, which they say early civilizations created using shadows cast by the natural rock formations. The Parowan Heritage Foundation has organized a slate of activities for Saturday to celebrate the solstice, and it all ends with a spectacular view of the sunset through the gap on Saturday evening. There will be hands-on workshops throughout the day. For a detailed list of activities, stop by the Cedar City Visitor Center or call the Brian Head Tourism Bureau at 435-586-5124. The Great American Eclipse will be the focus of a Dixie State University science trip in August. The August 21st solar eclipse will be visible throughout North America. However, in southern Utah, viewers will only see a partial eclipse. The 4-day trip will include stops at Yellowstone National Park, Craters of the Moon National Monument, and will culminate in the watching of the eclipse near Idaho Falls, Idaho. For more information, including expenses and registration requirements, you can visit exploredixie.edu. By the way, a total solar eclipse has not been visible in the continental U.S. since 1979. Chief Summers has your Southern Utah forecast right after this.
The weather tonight is brought to you by AWI Networks, Smarter Internet.
And welcome back, everyone. Happy first day of summer to you. Did see temperatures once again into the triple digits across a good portion of southern Utah, but did see a few showers activity develop just to our north through parts of northern and also central parts of Utah. Even seeing some strong thunderstorms in that region as well. Around Salt Lake City, seeing some gusty winds and some heavy rain. We're just seeing some watches and warnings though around our area. Again, still keeping the excessive heat warning in effect for basically St. George and areas down to the south and to the west here the next several days. That really going to last into the weekend as we don't see a big change in our temperatures. Now just to our north and around Cedar City and parts of central and southern Utah, seeing a red flag warning in effect, where again we have the concern of watching for some fires. Some elevated fire risk is out there along with that heat exhaustion over the next several days. Temperatures once again into the triple digits around the area. 112 degrees today here in St. George. Our record for the day is 114, so not quite a record, but very close for this date. 102 degrees up in Cedar City. That was a new record in Cedar City. Enterprise at 100 degrees. 117 in Mesquite. And 116 degrees, the temperature in Vegas. Again, looking like temperatures are going to stay warm even overnight into the mid-60s or low 60s in Cedar City, about 62 by tomorrow morning. Upper 70s, though, around the rest of the area from St. George to Mesquite to Hurricane, mainly clear skies. And as we head into our Thursday, see temperatures not quite as warm around Cedar City. We get back at least in the upper 90s. Compared to the triple digits. Lots of sunshine expected, though. Winds out of the north-northwest helping bring in just slightly cooler air to that area, with those winds gusting as high as 15 miles per hour. And around St. George, lots of sunshine in the forecast. Again, looking for temperatures close to 110 degrees. West-southwest winds will be a little gusty in the afternoon. Could be looking at wind gusts as high as 20 miles per hour throughout our day on our Thursday. So what else can we expect to see in the next couple of days? Well, hot and dry weather continues as we head to our Thursday. Again, even Friday and into the weekend, really more of the same. Hot, dry weather continuing across our area, and the excessive heat warning in effect too until we get to the weekend. And then by early next week, may see some signs of some slightly cooler temperatures, but again, no big cool down anytime soon. Looks like it's scorching weather across our area once again. Again, high pressure down to our south. So places of Arizona, southern Utah, even Nevada and California underneath these triple-digit heat. It looks like the dry weather will continue here the next several days, along with those temperatures well above where they should be for this time of year. As we head to your Thursday, then 97 for Cedar City, 98 degrees in Enterprise, 110 the high temperature St. George, 115 in Littlefield and Mesquite at 114. Again, your 7-day forecast for Cedar City. We're in the 90s at least. We fall back into the upper to mid 90s through the weekend. And then by early next week, we get right back into the low to mid 90s once again. So the next 7 days in Cedar City should be from 93 degrees to about 97 over the next couple of days. Now around St. George and southern Utah, then we're going to keep the 100-degree temperatures, and it looks like 110 to 105 across our area here again the next 7 days or so. Again, excessive heat warning in effect for much of the area as we get into the weekend. So 110 degrees by Saturday, 108 degrees, a high temperature on Sunday. And most of our record highs for this date or for these next several days about 114 or so. We're going to be very close, of course, but not record breaking. Kind of amazing to see temperatures like this for an extended period of time and not seeing us break a bunch of records. But Vegas and Phoenix, places like that, are breaking records, even seeing all-time record highs being broken in some areas too. So just a big area of hot, dry weather in our forecast next several days.
One of those pretty much cook an egg on the street kind of days.
And it doesn't take long at all, that's for sure.
Yeah, not that you want to.
Not that you don't want to, but yeah, probably about 15 to 20 minutes to take that egg, get you all right over easy side and ready to eat.
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll be right back. Two employees at a Goodwill in Ohio found $100,000 in cash in a duffel bag of donated clothes. A woman dropped off the clothes and a large amount of money at a Goodwill in Zanesville. Turns out the husband of the woman who donated those clothes had recently withdrawn the $100,000 to buy a new home. He put the money in the trunk of his car where he thought no one would find it. The money was turned over to the police and the rightful owners were notified. The store's manager says they're proud of their employees' honesty.
I know that if that was my money that I worked hard for, it would be heartbreaking if I didn't get it back. Today's world, the way the economy is, it would be so easy for someone to just forget their morals and walk out with that money.
At first, employees thought the money was fake, so they took that bag to the manager, who used a counterfeit pen and determined it was, in fact, the real deal. Good for them.
Very good for them. Way to do the right thing.
Well, thanks for watching.
We hope you have a great night.